Hi ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ಟು ಟೆಕ್ ಗರ್ಲ್ ಕನ್ನಡ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಚಾನಲ್.
Module 1 Cell Basic Unit of Life. Introduction, Structure and Functions of a Cell. Stem cells and their applications. Biomolecules. Properties and functions of carbohydrates, nucleic acids, proteins and lipids. Importance of special biomolecules. Properties and functions of enzymes, vitamins and hormones. Introduction. Biology is the study of all aspects of life in many ways. The last 1,000 years have seen a meteoric rise in the study of biology as natural science. For a long time, biology was thought to deal with only the classification of all known living organisms, animal behavior, and habitats. So, in short, biology is detailed study of living organisms. This includes the genetic, chemical, physical, ecological, and evolutionary aspects of life. Applications of biology is bioinformatics and AI, biosensors, bioregeneration, bioengineering and climate, alternative renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, applications, estimated education, forensics, pharmaceuticals, biomedical engineering, prosthetics, and also drug delivery. Cell is the structure and fundamental unit of life. The study of cells from the basic structure to the functions of every cell organelle is called cell biology. Robert Hooke was the first biologist who discovered cells. All organisms are made up of cells. They may be made up of a single cell or many cells. Mycoplasms are the smallest known cells. Mycoplasmas. Cells are the building blocks of all living beings. They provide structure to the body and convert nutrients taken from the food into energy. Cells are complex and their components perform various functions in an organism. They are of different shapes and sizes, pretty much like bricks of a building. Our body is made up of cells of different shapes and sizes. From organism to organism, the count of cells may vary. Humans have a greater number of cells compared to that of bacteria. Cells comprises several cell organelles that perform specialized functions to carry out life processes. Structure of the cell. The cell structure comprises individual components with specific functions essential to carry out life processes. Cell membrane. The cell membrane supports and protects the cell. It controls the movement of substances in and out of the cells. It separates the cell from the external environment. The cell membrane is the outer covering of the cell, within which all other organelles, such as the cytoplasm and nucleus, are enclosed. It is also referred to as the plasma membrane by structure. It is a porous membrane with pores, which permits the movement of selective substances in and out of the cell. Cell wall. The cell wall is the most prominent part of the plant cell structure. It is made up of cellulose and hemicellulose and pectin. Protects the plasma membrane and other cellular components. The cell wall is also the outermost layer of the plant cell. It is a rigid and stiff structure surrounding the cell membrane. It provides shape and support to the cells and protects them from the mechanical shocks and injuries. Cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is a thick, clear jelly-like substance present inside the cell membrane. Most of the chemical reactions within a cell take place in this cytoplasm. The cell organelles such as endoplasmic reticulum, vacuoles, mitochondria, ribosomes are suspended in this cytoplasm. Nucleus. This is a spherical structure organelle found majorly at the center of the cell, surrounded by a double-layered nuclear membrane separating it from the cytoplasm. The nucleus contains the hereditary material of the cell, the DNA. It sends signals to the cells to grow, mature, divide, and die. The nucleus is surrounded by a nuclear envelope that separates the DNA from the rest of the cell. The nucleus protects the DNA and is an integral component of the plant cell structure. Cell organelles. Cells are composed of various cell organelles that perform certain specific functions to carry out the life processes. The different cell organelles along with its principal functions are as follows. Nucleolus. Nucleolus is a spherical body within the nucleus of most eukaryotic cells, involved in the synthesis of ribosomal RNA, rRNA, and the formation of ribosomes. The nucleus contains the genes that encode our RNAs. Also, it is involved in controlling cellular activities and cellular reproduction. Nuclear membrane. Every nucleus is encircled and covered by a double layer membrane, known as the nuclear envelope or nuclear membrane. It separates the nucleoplasm, the fluid present in the nucleus, from the cytoplasm. Chromosomes. Chromosomes are thread-like structures made of protein and a single molecule of DNA that serve to carry the genomic information from cell to cell. In plants and animals, including humans, chromosome resides in the nucleus of the cells. Chromosomes play a crucial role in determining the sex of an individual. Each human cells contain 23 pair of chromosomes. Endoplasmic reticulum. This is a continuous folded membranous organelle found in the cytoplasm made up of a thin network of flattened interconnected compartments that connects from the cytoplasm to the cell nucleus. The endoplasmic reticulum is involved in the transportation of substances throughout the cell, plays a primary role in metabolism or carbohydrates, synthesis of lipids, steroids, and proteins. Golgi bodies. These are the membrane-bound cell organelles found in the cytoplasm of the eukaryotic cell. Next to the endoplasmic reticulum, near the nucleus, Golgi bodies are supported together by cytoplasmic microtubules and held by a protein matrix. Golgi bodies are called the cell's post office as it is involved in the transportation of materials within the cell. Ribosomes. These are small organelles majorly made up of 60% RNA cytoplasmic granules and 40% of proteins. All living cells contain ribosomes, which may be freely circulating in the cytoplasm, and some are bound to the endoplasmic reticulum. It is the site of protein synthesis. Mitochondria. These are membrane-bound organelles located in the cytoplasm of all eukaryotic cells. The number of mitochondria found in each cell varies widely depending on the function of the cell it performs. The mitochondrion is called powerhouse of the cell. It is called so because it produces ATP, the cell's energy currency. Lysosomes. They are round subcellular organelles found in almost all eukaryotic cells. Lysosomes are very acidic organelles containing the digestive enzymes. Therefore, each of the lysosomes is surrounded by a membrane to protect it from the outer environment. Lysosomes protect the cell by engulfing the foreign bodies entering the cell and help the cell to renew. Therefore, they are known as the cell suicide bats. Chloroplast. A chloroplast is a type of organelle known as plastid, predominantly found in plant cells and algae. It is the site to photosynthesis, a process where light energy is converted into chemical energy, fueling the organism's activities. It contains the pigment called chlorophyll. Vacuoles. They are membrane-bound sacs found within the cell cytoplasm. The vacuole sac has a single membrane surrounding it known as tonoplast, and its membrane resembles the plasma membrane. Vacuoles stores food, water, and other waste materials in the cell. They also remove toxic substances and waste materials from the cell as a protection strategy. This is a diagram of the plant cell and the animal cell. You can see the difference between them and the organelles. Ribosomes, lysosomes, nucleus, nucleolus, mitochondrion, rough endoplasmic reticulum, smooth endoplasmic reticulum, vacuole, peroxisomes, Golgi apparatus, cell membrane, cytoplasm. Plant cell has amyloplast, chloroplast, and cell wall, whereas animal cell has centrioles and microtubules. Structure of plant cell and the animal cell. Types of cells. Cells are primarily classified into two types, namely prokaryotic cell and the eukaryotic cell. Prokaryotic cells have no nucleus. Instead, some prokaryotes such as bacteria have a region within the cell where the genetic material is freely suspended. This region is called the nucleoid. They all are single-celled organisms. Examples include archaea, bacteria, and cyanobacteria. Eukaryotic cells are characterized by a true nucleus. This broad category involves plants, fungi, protozoans, and animals. The plasma membrane is responsible for monitoring the transport of nutrients and electrolytes in and out of the cells. There are some contrasting features between plant and animal cells. For example, the plant cell contains chloroplast, central vacuole, and other plastids, whereas animal cells do not contain that. Prokaryotic diagram: cell wall, nucleoid, pilus, flagellum, cytoplasm, ribosome, and plasma membrane are same. Whereas eukaryotic cell contains complete organelles of the cell, that is Golgi apparatus, nucleus, endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondrion, lysosome. The structure of prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. Functions of the cell. A cell performs major functions essential for the growth and development of an organism. Metabolism. Chemical processes that sustain life, including energy production, biosynthesis of molecules, and nutrient breakdown. Protein synthesis involves transcription of DNA into mRNA in the nucleus, followed by translation of mRNA into proteins and ribosomes. Provide support and structure. The cell wall and the cell membrane provide support and structure to the organisms. For example, the skin is made up of a large number of cells. Xylem present in the vascular plants provide structural support to the plants. Then it facilitates the growth of mitosis. In the process of mitosis, the parent cell divides into daughter cells, that is, multiply and facilitate the growth in an organism. Allows transfers of substances. Various nutrients are imported by the cells to carry out various chemical processes going on inside the cells. The waste produced by the chemical process is eliminated from the cells by active and passive transport. Energy production. Cells require energy to carry out various chemical processes. This energy is produced by the cells through a process called photosynthesis in plants and respiration in animals. Reproduction. Cells also helps in reproduction. Stem cells and their application. Stem cells are special human cells that can develop into many different types of cells, from the muscle cell to brain cells. Stem cells also have the ability to repair damaged cells. These cells have strong healing power. They can evolve into any type of a cell. Research on stem cells is going on. It is believed that stem cell therapies can cure ailments like paralysis and Alzheimer's as well. Let us have a detailed look at stem cells, the types and functions. Stem cells. Stem cells are of the following different types. Embryonic stem cells. The fertilized egg begins to divide immediately. All the cells in the young embryo are totipotent cells. These cells form a hollow structure within a few days. Cells in one region group together to form the inner cell mass. This contains pluripotent cells that make up the developing fetus. The embryonic stem cells can be further classified as totipotent stem cells. These can differentiate into possible types of stem cells. Pluripotent stem cells. These are the cells from the early embryo and can differentiate into any cell type. Multipotent stem cells. These differentiate into a closely related cell type. For example, the hematopoietic stem cells differentiate into red blood cells and white blood cells. Oligopotent stem cells. Adult lymphoid or myeloid cells are oligopotent. They can differentiate into few different types of cells. Unipotent stem cells. They can produce cells only of their own types. Since they have the ability to renew themselves, they are known as unipotent stem cells. Muscle stem cells. Adult stem cells. These stem cells are obtained from the developed organs and tissues. They can repair and replace the damaged tissues in the region where they are located. For example, hematopoietic
Stem cells are found in bone marrow. These stem cells are used in bone marrow transplants to treat specific types of cancers. Induced pluripotent stem cells, these cells have been tested and arranged by converting tissue-specific cells into embryonic cells in the lab. These cells are accepted as an important tool to learn about the normal development, onset, and progression of the disease and are also helpful in testing various drugs. These stem cells share the same characteristics as embryonic cells do. They also have the potential to give rise to all the different types of cells in the human body. Mesenchymal stem cells. These cells are mainly formed from the connective tissues surrounding other tissues and organs, known as the stroma. These mesenchymal stem cells are accurately called stromal cells. The first mesenchymal stem cells were found in the bone marrow that is capable of developing bones, fat cells, and cartilages. Applications of stem cells. Following are the important application of the stem cells. Tissue regeneration. This is the most important application of stem cells. The stem cells can be used to grow a specific type of tissue or organ. This can be helpful in kidney and liver transplants. The doctors have already used the stem cell from the beneath the epidermis to develop skin tissue that can repair severe burns or other injuries by tissue grafting. Then treatment of cardiovascular diseases. A team of researchers have developed blood vessels in mice using human stem cells. Within 2 weeks of implantation, the blood vessels formed their network and were as efficient as the natural vessels. Then the treatment of brain disease. Stem cells can also treat diseases such as Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's. These can help to replenish the damaged brain cells. Researchers have tried to differentiate embryonic stem cells into this type of cells and make it possible to treat diseases. Blood disease treatment. The adult hematopoietic stem cells are used to treat cancer, sickle cell anemia, and other immunodeficiency diseases. These stem cells can be used to produce red blood cells and white blood cells in the body. Biomolecules. These biomolecules are the most essential organic molecules which are found in living organisms and involved in the maintenance and metabolic process of the living organisms. Biomolecules are the building blocks of the life and perform important functions in the living organisms. Biomolecules have a wide range of size and structure. Example: carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acids, and lipids, enzymes, vitamins, hormones. Proteins, lipids, nucleic acid, carbohydrates. Carbohydrates. Introduction. Carbohydrates are the macronutrients and are one of the three main ways by which our body obtains its energy. They are called carbohydrates as they contain carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen. Their chemical level. Carbohydrates are essential nutrients which include sugar, fibers, and starches. They are found in grains, vegetables, fruits, and in milk and other dairy products. They are the basic food groups which play an important role in a healthy life. Carbohydrates are chemically defined as polyhydroxyaldehydes or ketones, or compounds which produce them on hydrolysis. They are collectively called as saccharides, Greek saccharon, sugar. Depending on the number of constituting sugar units obtained upon hydrolysis, they are classified as monosaccharides 1 unit, oligosaccharides 2 to 10 units, and polysaccharides more than 10 units. They have multiple functions, viz. They are the most abundant dietary source of energy. They are structurally very important for many living organisms as they form a major structural component, that is, cellulose is an important structural fiber for plants. Properties of carbohydrates. Stereoisomerism. Compounds having the same structural formula but they differ in the spatial configuration. Example: glucose has two isomers with respect to its penultimate carbon atom. They are D-glucose and L-glucose. And optical activity, in it is the rotation of plain polarized dyes forming plus positive glucose or negative glucose. Diastereoisomers, it is the configurational changes with regard to C2, C3 or C4 in glucose. Example, mannose and galactose. Anomerism, it is a spatial configuration with respect to the first carbon atom in aldosis and the second carbon atom in ketosis. Oxazone formation. Oxazone are carbohydrate derivatives when sugars are reacted with an excess of phenylhydrazine, example glucosazone. Benedict's test. Reducing sugars when heated in the presence of an alkali gets converted to purple reducing species known as enidiols. When Benedict's reagent solution and reducing sugar are heated together, the solution changes its color to orange red to brick red. Oxidation. Monosaccharides are reducing sugars if their carbonyl groups oxidize to give carboxylic acids. In Benedict's test, D-glucose is oxidized to D-gluconic acid, thus glucose is considered as a reducing sugar. Reduction to alcohols. The CO groups in open chain forms or carbohydrates can be reduced to alcohols by sodium borohydride, NaBH4, or catalytic hydrogenation, H2Ni, alcohol, ethanol, H2O. The product are known as alditols. Then functions of the carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are widely distributed molecules in plants and animal tissues. In plants, arthropods. Carbohydrates from the skeletal structures. They also serve as food reserves to plants and animals. They are important energy sources required for various metabolic activities. The energy is derived by oxidation. So some of their major functions include carbohydrates are helpful in performing many functions such as breakdown of protein molecules, dehydration as well as the eliminating ketosis. Carbohydrates serves as a primary energy sources. Carbohydrates provides energy. Carbohydrates helps in regulation of blood glucose. Carbohydrates provides the carbon skeleton for the synthesis of some non-essential amino acids. Carbohydrates are intermediates in biosynthesis of fats and proteins. Carbohydrates aid in the regulation of nerve tissue and in the energy source for the brain. Carbohydrates get associated with lipids and proteins to form surface antigens, receptor molecules, vitamins, and antibiotics. Formation of the structural framework of RNA and DNA, ribonucleic acid and deoxyribonucleic acid. Carbohydrates that are rich in fiber content help in prevent the constipation. Nucleic acids. Nucleic acids are the long-chain polymeric molecules. The monomer, the repeating unit, is known as the nucleotides, and hence sometimes nucleic acid are referred to as polynucleotides. Deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA, and ribonucleic acid, RNA, are the two major types of nucleic acid. Deoxyribonucleic acid and ribonucleic acid are responsible for the inheritance and transformation of specific characters from one generation to another. There are prominently two types of nucleic acids known as RNA and its base pairs, DNA and its base pairs. Properties of nucleic acid. The basic nucleic acid structure is similar to chain of molecules composed of identical series of nucleotides. Single nucleotide base property of nucleic acid comprises of nitrogen-containing fragments base affixed to a 5-carbon sugar connected to a phosphate group. Every nucleic acid encompasses 4 or 5 possible nitrogen-containing bases, which are uracil U, adenine A, thymine T, guanine G, and cytosine C. Among these nitrogen-containing bases, C, U, and T are classified as pyrimidines. A, G are classified as purines. An artificially synthesized polymer is also named peptide nucleic acid (PNA). Similar to DNA or RNA, peptide nucleic acid might be similar to DNA and RNA. Its function varies from that of both. Generally, all nucleic acids contain the bases guanine, adenine, and cytosine, but thymine is specifically found in DNA, while uracil is in RNA. Functions of nucleic acid. The basic function of nucleic acid is mentioned below. stores information. These assets are responsible for both carrying and transmitting information in the human body. Both copying and regarding the information stored in the DNA relies on base pairing between two nucleic acid. Protects information apart from the storing these molecules. It also protects the transmitted information. It protects the information from being lost by storing in a safer place, determining of inherited characteristics. These assets are responsible for DNA in a human being and eventually determines their inherited characteristics from one generation to another. DNA fingerprinting. It is a method used by forensic experts to determine paternity. It is also used for the identification of the criminals. In research, it has also played a major role in studies regarding biological evolution and genetics. Then proteins. Introduction. Proteins are macromolecules made up of monomers called amino acids. Amino acids are the building block of all the proteins. An amino acid is a simple organic compound consisting of a basic group called NH2, an acidic group called COOH, and an R group that is unique to each amino acid. The term amino acid is short for alpha amino carboxylic acid. Each molecule has a central carbon atom called alpha carbon to which both the groups are attached. The remaining two bonds of the central carbon are satisfied by hydrogen atom and an organic or a more sophisticated group. Thus, the alpha carbon in all the amino acids is asymmetric except the glycerin, where the alpha carbon is symmetric with a hydrogen atom as an R group. Because of this asymmetry, the amino acids except glycine exist in two optically active forms. Those having NH2 group to the right are designated as dextroforms and those having NH2 group to the left as levoforms. The property to exist in two optically different forms is termed as the chirality. Amino acids are photoric compounds with both acidic and alkaline groups. These also always exist as ions except at the isoelectric point. As you can see in this figure, empirical structure of amino acids. When the properties of protein solubility in water, the relationship of proteins with water is complex. The secondary structure of proteins depends largely on the interaction of peptide bonds with water through hydrogen bonds. Hydrogen bonds are also formed between protein alpha and beta structures and water. The protein-rich static pol is more soluble than the helical structures. At the tertiary structure, water causes the orientation of the chains and hydrophilic radicals to the outside of the molecule, while the hydrophobic chains and the radicals tend to react with each other within the molecule. Hydrophobic effect. Denaturation, partial or complete unfolding of the natural conformation of the polypeptide chain is called as denaturation. This is caused by heat, acids, alkalis, alcohol, acetone, urea, beta-mercaptoethanol. Coagulation. When proteins are denatured by heat, they form insoluble aggregates known as coagulum. All the proteins are not heat coagulable. Only a few like the admins, globulins are heat coagulable. Isoelectric pH. The pH at which a protein has equal number of positive and negative charges is known as isoelectric pH. When subjected to an electric field, the proteins do not move either towards anode or cathode, hence this property is called as used for the isolate proteins. Molecular weights of proteins. Different proteins have different amino acid composition and hence their molecular weights differ. The average molecular weight of the amino acid is taken to be 1 ton. The total number of amino acid in a protein multiplied by 1 ton gives you the approximate molecular weight of the protein. Functions of proteins. Digestion. The digestive enzymes, which are primarily proteinaceous in origin, carry out digestion. Movement. Muscles include a protein called myosin, which helps muscles contract, allowing for movement. Structure and support. The structural protein known as keratin is what gives humans and animals hairs, nails, and horns. Cellular communication through receptors on the surface cells can communicate with the other cells and the outside world. These receptors are made of proteins, act as a messenger. These proteins serve as a chemical messages that facilitate communication among cells and tissues and organs, etc. Lipids. Lipids are organic compounds that contain hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen atoms, which form the framework for the structure and functions of the living cells. These organic compounds are non-polar molecules which are soluble only in non-polar solvents and insoluble in water because water is a polar molecule. In the human body, these molecules can be synthesized in the liver and are found in oil, butter, whole milk, cheese, fried food, and also in some red meats. Lipids are the polymers of fatty acids that contain a long non-polar hydrocarbon chain with a small polar region containing oxygen. This is the figure. Polar head, hydrophilic, and non-polar tail, which is hydrophobic. Lipid bilayer. Then the properties of lipids. Lipids are oily or greasy non-polar molecules stored in the adipose tissue of the body. Lipids are heterogeneous group of compounds mainly composed of hydrocarbon chain. Lipids are energy-rich molecules which provide energy for different life processes. Lipids are a class of compounds categorized by their solubility in non-polar solvents and insoluble in water. Lipids are significant in biological systems as they form a mechanical barrier dividing a cell from the external environment, known as the cell membrane. Lipids are generally hydrophobic, meaning they repel water and do not dissolve in it. Functions of lipids. Lipids like adipose tissue act as insulators and help to maintain body temperature by reducing heat loss. Lipids, especially triglycerides, act as the energy storage in organisms, providing a reserve of the metabolic fuel. Lipids protect the plant leaves from direct heat and drying. Steroid hormones derived from the cholesterol play a vital role in regulating various physiological processes, including metabolism, growth, and reproduction. In plants, lipid can be stored as oils in seeds, providing a source of energy for germination and early growth. Lipids form waterproofing structures such as the wax cuticle on plant leaves or the oil on the feathers of water birds. It provides color to many fruits and vegetables with the presence of carotenoid pigment. Lipids serve as a signaling molecules. They are catalysts of electrical impulses activity within the brain. Nervous responses, myelinated neurons propagate faster than in unmyelinated neurons left. Myelin is a mixture of proteins and phospholipids that insulates nerves. The myelin coating is 70% of lipids. Enzymes. Enzymes can be defined as the biological polymers that catalyze biochemical reactions. The majority of enzymes are proteins with catalytic capabilities, crucial to perform different processes. Metabolic processes. Proteins with catalytic capabilities crucial to perform different processes. Metabolic process and other chemical reactions in the cells are carried out by a set of enzymes that are necessary to sustain life. The initial stage of metabolic process depends upon the enzymes which react with molecule and is called the substrate. Enzymes convert the substrate into other distinct molecules which are known as the products. Enzymes are found in all tissues and fluids of the body. Here is a substrate and an enzyme, and there is an active site as well. Properties of enzymes includes enzymes are complex macromolecules with high molecular weight. They catalyze biochemical reactions in a cell. They help in the breakdown of large molecules into smaller molecules or bring together two smaller molecules to form a larger molecule. Then enzymes do not start a reaction, however, they help in accelerating it. Enzymes affect the rate of biochemical reaction but not the direction. Most of the enzymes have a higher turnover number. Turnover number of an enzyme is a number of molecules of the substance that is acted upon by an enzyme as per minute. High turnover number of enzymes increases the efficiency of the reaction. Enzymatic activity decreases with the increase in the temperature. They show maximum activity at the optimum pH of 6 to 8. Functions of enzymes like kinases and phosphatases are important for cell regulation and signal transmission. The activation and inhibition of enzymes resulting in a negative feedback mechanism adjusts the rate of synthesis of intermediate metabolites. They catalyze post-translational modifications involving phosphorylation and glycosylation and cleavage of the polypeptide chains. Some enzymes are also involved in the regulation of enzyme levels by changing the rate of enzyme degradation. Since the tight regulation of enzymes is essential for homeostasis, any changes in the enzyme structure and production might result in the diseases. Enzymes synthesized in various organizations are also utilized in various industries for wine production, cheese production, bread whitening, and designing fabrics. Vitamins. Vitamins are the chemical compounds that are required in small amounts with our regular diet in order to carry out certain biological functions and for the maintenance of our growth. There are 13 essential vitamins. This means that these vitamins are required for our body to work properly. Vitamins are generally classified as water-soluble vitamins and fat-soluble vitamins. Fat-soluble vitamins are vitamin A, D, E, and K are fat-soluble. These are stored in adipose tissues, hence are called fat-soluble vitamins. Water-soluble vitamins, vitamins in B group and vitamin C are water-soluble and cannot be stored in our bodies as they pass with the water and urine. These vitamins must be supplied to our bodies with our regular diets. Vitamin C, molecular structure of vitamin C. Then the properties of vitamins includes the vitamins are the organic low molecular weight substances that have key roles in the metabolism. Then few are single substances. Most are families of chemically related substances sharing biological activities. The vitamins comprising of vitamin family may vary in biopotency. Otherwise, vitamin families are chemically heterogeneous. Therefore, it is convenient to classify the vitamins according to their physical properties. Some vitamins are fat-soluble, the others are water-soluble. The water-soluble vitamins are C, thiamine, riboflavin, pyridoxine, biotin, pantothenic acid, folate, B12 tend to have one or more polar or ionized groups, whereas fat-soluble vitamins are A, D, E, and K have predominantly aromatic and aliphatic characters. These traits determine the nature of their absorption, transport, tissue distribution, and metabolic function. Vitamins function as antioxidants, effectors of gene transcription, H plus ions, donors, acceptors, hormones, and coenzymes. Functions of vitamins include each of the vitamins listed below has an important job in the body. A vitamin deficiency occurs when you do not get enough of a certain vitamin. Vitamin deficiency can cause health problems. B6 is called pyridoxine. B6 helps to form red blood cells and maintain brain function. This vitamin also plays an important role in the protein that are part of many chemical reactions in the body. The more protein you eat, the more pyridoxine your body requires. Vitamin B12, like other B vitamins, it is important for metabolism. It also helps form red blood cells and maintain the central and peripheral nervous systems. Vitamin C, also called as ascorbic acid, is an antioxidant that promotes healthy teeth and gums. It helps the body absorb iron, maintain healthy tissues. It is also essential for wound healing. Vitamin D is also known as sunshine vitamin, since it is made by the body after being in the sun. 10 to 15 minutes of sunshine 3 times a week is enough to produce the body's requirement for vitamin D for most people at most latitudes. Vitamin E is an antioxidant also known as tocopherol. Helps the body form red blood cells and use vitamin K. Vitamin K is needed for without it blood would not coagulate normally. Some studies suggest that it is important for bone health, and niacin is a vitamin B vitamin that helps maintain healthy skin and nerves. It has triglyceride lowering effects at higher doses. Hormones. These are the chemicals that coordinate different functions in our body by carrying messages through your blood or our organs, skin, muscles, and other tissues. These signals tells our body what to do and when to do it. Hormones are essential for life, as stated above. Hormones are the chemicals that essentially function as the messengers. These are the chemicals are secreted by special glands known as endocrine glands. These endocrine glands are distributed throughout the body. These messengers control many physiological functions as well as psychological function health. They are also quite important in maintaining homeostasis stasis of the body. Properties of hormones. The significant properties of hormones are they have a low molecular weight, thus they can easily pass through capillaries. Hormones always acts in low concentration. They are soluble in water so that they can be transported via blood. The importance of hormones is that they are non-antigenic. They are organic catalysts. Hormones act as coenzymes of other enzymes in human body. Hormones in their first action cause a limited number of reactions and do not influence any metabolic activities of a cell directly. A significant characteristic of hormones is that after their function is over, they are readily destroyed, excreted, or inactivated. Hormonal activities are not hereditary. Functions of hormones. Different hormones have different functions. Hormones are created by glands which are part of the endocrine system. The main hormone producing glands are hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is responsible for body temperature, hunger, moods, and the release of hormones from other glands, and also control thirst, sleep, and sex drive. Parathyroid. This gland controls the amount of calcium in the body. Thymus. This gland plays a role in the function of the adaptive immune system and the maturity of thymus and produce T cells. Pancreas. This gland produces the insulin that helps control blood sugar levels. Thyroid. The thyroid produces hormones associated with the calorie burning and the heart rate. Adrenal. Adrenal glands produce the hormones that control sex drive and cortisol. The stress hormone. Pituitary. Consider the master control gland. The pituitary gland controls other glands and makes the hormones that trigger growth. A pineal, also called as the thalamus. This gland produces serotonin derivatives of melatonin, which affects the sleep. Ovaries. Only in women, the ovaries secrete estrogen, testosterone, and progesterone. The female sex hormones. Only in men, the testes produce the male sex hormone, testosterone, and produce sperm. And the important questions includes explain any 5 cell organelles, functions of cell, differences between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, what are stem cells and therefore functions of stem cells, and 5 functions of proteins, lipids, properties, carbohydrates, properties, functions of vitamins, hormones, properties, biomolecules, nucleic acids, enzymes, and their functions. Hope you liked the video.
Thank you for watching. Do like, share, and subscribe to my channel.